to all the dispossessed youth of Africa, for perpetuation of communion with ancestral spirits through the fight for African freedom, and in the firm faith that the dead, the living, and the unborn will unite to build the destroyed shrines. Selah. Hello and welcome, beloveds, to Wake Up Africa. My name is Dr. Mumbi Saraki. How you doing? How's everything going? I really do pray that you are well in all your ways and that you're moving into living life truly on your own terms, in your own story, in your own narrative. Thanks to every single person that has subscribed to this channel. Go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already, beloveds. Don't forget to like so that more and more of our people get this message. You know, the Wake Up Africa, movement, from my perspective, is all about revealing, waking us up mentally, revealing what has been hidden in plain sight so that we can go back from being a slave race to being the gods and the goddesses that we really are, the creative beings that we were born to be, that we have perpetually been, because we're spiritual beings having a human experience. And, there's so much I could say about that. But one of the things I wanted to say is things are rapidly changing, beloveds. And you really need to get out of the Babylon narrative for your own good, for the good of your children, because they are throwing everything that they have at our people, everything. And they are planning to create, total chaos in order to try and delay what can't be delayed. Because you see, beloveds, there was an invasion on this solar melanated planet. And I've talked about this, or I've hinted about this before. It was an invasion. It wasn't like millions or thousands of years ago. You'd actually be shocked at how recent it was. And so many things were done to totally destroy and decimate. Our pyramids were basically like generators of energy, so many things, beloveds, but they were like our temples, let's say that. So much was done to destroy not just our shrine, we call them our shrines and our temples, but these were deeper than that. These weren't like the churches of today where you go into an empty building and you pray. These were highly energized, resurrection portals, or portals to other worlds. We lost so much, and then we were dumbed down to it. And, it happened because we happened to be going through a certain, can I say vibration? Maybe I'll call it vibration. We happened to be going through a certain vibration. So it happened for a season. It did catch us kind of unawares. And the vibration is because when the enemies of our soul entered this plane, they shattered everything. And so there was like a massive drop in our capabilities and consciousness levels. So we went from being gods to literally being like, barely able to take care of ourselves, to being literally a mentally enslaved race. And it happened literally so systematically, and so much was done. I mean, so much magic was used, beloveds, which is what's so funny, because the powers that be will want you not to believe in magic. They'll put it in cartoons and everything when you're a child so that you're already brainwashed to think it's just a cartoon kind of thing, when it's the realest. So much has been done, beloveds, to orchestrate this from behind the scenes, because I keep saying from the spiritual comes the physical. It's never the other way around. It can't be. And the physical can't create itself because it's already existing. So it needs that, it needs an energy from the spiritual to kind of perpetually create it. And that's what Babylon did. But they had to lower us. It's like throwing us off a cliff. And then we land battered and bruised into this total matrix, where our identity is taken and other people take on our nature and teach us that we are them and they are we. Teach us that we came from animals, which is a lie, and all this stuff that really just had our parents and our grandparents in the craziest mental prison. But when you think that colonialism and slavery literally happened or ended 50 years ago, you'll see that his story is so blurry and full of lies. And he's told so many lies. So how can we even believe him when he tells us that he's been around for a long time? He hasn't. Absolutely not. But so much was done to hijack, beloveds. This world was taken over. And by keeping us in that low vibration, we couldn't go back. We were totally disconnected from our God, and the God is in us. We were totally disconnected from that God nature in us and reduced to being an animal. But now everything has changed, beloveds. Absolutely everything has changed. We're going back to the way the world was, which means lower vibrational. And when people say low vibrational, it just means like, those low thoughts of hatred, discomfort, aggression, anger, fear, lust, all those low physical kind of emotionally based things that really have no creative power. They're just emotion, they're just feelings. Then and they are emotions, but emotions are energy in motion, so it's just wasted energy. But we were kept there. But now the world is rising, beloveds. There's so much external reinforcement that is coming in. It's like the spiritual war is now reaching the physical plane, and we're going to start seeing results, which means that, Mama Earth will be pulled out of hell and will rise, beloveds. Everyone it's all hands on deck, all the kingdoms are giving what they can. The sun, the fire king, is just beaming and heating up everything, which kind of triggers and activates our melanin blood, beloveds. And if you want to see something about the UV rays, check out this guy called Kali Amun-Rao, something like that. He does like a daily UV index. And look into what the UV rays actually are. It's amazing. But those are our activation codes. And so you see, because it's a mental reality, those that exist and can only exist in fear, in pain, in suffering, in creating suffering for others so that they can siphon off their energy, won't make it. Because you see, that whole reality that we're coming out of was a reality of dependence. It was a reality where you needed something outside of yourself to live, because the people who created that reality, that's how they are. They needed their energy vampires. They're literally vampires. They needed our energy as a people to create this world for them and to feed them and to power them and to keep them going. They can't survive. But now we're going into self-sufficiency, where you have to stand in your authority as a god or goddess, where you have to stand in your authority as someone who has their own creative power and oomph to create their own creative reality and experience. And so those that created this matrix that is so dependent on siphoning off other people's energies in order to live just won't exist anymore, because we're all coming back to ourselves. We're all returning back, all our consciousness, to the creators that we are, and we're no longer going to be manipulated to create false realities for others, because we got work to do in creating our own world. Tuko pamoja.